This morning on DC News Now, a string of shootings in the district leaves one person dead.
Any loss of life in our community is tragic.
Where the investigation stands this morning. Cloudy and colder with some snow showers for your Wednesday. Meteorologist Jackie Layer has the latest. Prioritizing school security in Prince George's County. Parents raising safety concerns after some unsettling incidents.
We have kids bringing guns, knives, and everything in the school.
Rising egg prices yet to crack. Local businesses hit hard by a shortage linked to the bird flu. Plus, thousands of former federal workers searching for work.
Our people work for the government. Our people support the government. And it's no longer supporting them.
A local photographer helping workers update job profiles.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Well, good morning, and thanks for starting your Wednesday with us here on DC News Now. It is 6 o'clock. I'm Tanaya Wright.
Good morning. I'm Tosin Fakila in for Corey James. It is hump day, and your traffic is off to a very busy start.
Yes.
It sure is.
Shanika, tracking your commute. We'll have an update in just a bit. But first, we're going to start things over with meteorologist Jackie Layer. Jackie, it is a frigid start to the day.
Frigid out there. At least that snow hasn't started to fall yet for much of our area. And if anything, those snow showers are likely be mainly along and south of 66 today. So let's talk about that radar right now. This is a wide review just to show you the expanse of the system. Much of that snow falling down towards our south and west. And if anything, we're hearing there was reports right around Charlottesville, Richmond area of that snow, and even Harrisonburg too. But down towards Fredericksburg, doesn't look like that snow falling just yet. We're waiting for those reports to come in. But yeah, we have those winter weather advisories in place for our far southernmost areas, including southern Maryland. Now, wind chills out there right now. This is what you have to dress for. We're talking about wind chills right now. At least we're into the double digits now in DC and Leesburg after starting off in the single digits, but still feeling about 8 degrees in Manassas. 2 is what it feels like as you're stepping out in Hagerstown. So please bundle up. Now today, much of our northern areas likely remaining dry, really being spared by this system. I would say DC areas southward, that's where we could be dealing with some of that snow. But if anything for DC, right around 1 to 2 p.m. is when we could see some of that snow pushing through, but then that quickly exits. So really just maybe an hour or two of some snow chances, and then we're out of it, at least for DC. But for areas farther south, a little bit different than that. And then as we get towards tomorrow morning, some of that snow pushing in. So tomorrow morning, I would say the northern parts of our area, that is when you will be dealing with some of that snow pushing through. Eventually that exits, and then we turn blustery in the wake of this system. Get ready for those winds to pick up and those wind chills to be hovering into the 20s through much of tomorrow, although actual air temperatures will be right around the freezing mark. So today and tomorrow, cold, but at least we do see a bit of a warm up towards the latter half of that 7-day. I'll go over all those details coming up in just a few minutes, but Shanika's back with the all-important look at those roadways. What are you seeing out there this morning?
All right. Hey, Jackie, we're starting off the 6 o'clock hour with major delays. That's along BW Parkway heading northbound right near Powder Mill Road. Look at all those flashing lights and all those brake lights there, barely moving. At one point, I saw some cars moving, but really, you're going to be really heavy right now in this area. This is through Greenbelt. Now, this crash is right between Powder Mill Road and 197, again, heading northbound. So any of you folks who have to travel northbound toward Baltimore BWI Airport, if you have a flight, definitely stay away from BW Parkway. That is going to be a no-go zone for you this morning. Look at all those brake lights and all of that traffic there. Just a lot of congestion. So definitely keep that in mind heading out, guys.
All right, Shanika, thank you. Yeah, the road's definitely busy, and it's only 6:03. Well, we're starting off in the district where there's been a string of shootings in Northwest, and it wasn't a matter of hours. 2 of those incidents involved an officer firing their weapon.
Yeah, we do know one suspect is now dead. Our Yamari Sase live from the scene in Northwest. So Yamari, a lot going on out there.
Yeah, good morning. A lot took place just yesterday. Officers were very busy with all these different investigations. Now we're talking about 3 separate incidents. One situation involving 2 people firing weapons at each other, and then 2 separate incidents involving officers firing their weapons in those situations. And those 2 actually took place right here on Georgia Avenue.
Whenever there's a loss of life in any situation, it's very tragic.
3 separate incidents, 1 life lost. Just before 3:30 p.m. on Tuesday, a shooting happened between 2 people on Oak Street in Northwest. Chief Pamela Smith says one of the victims is also a suspect and was arrested. Around the same time in a separate incident, police were conducting a traffic stop when they saw 2 individuals firing weapons on Georgia Avenue. An officer fired in that direction. Police do not believe anyone was hurt.
They were last seen in the alley in between Quebec Place and Princeton Place Northwest.
Just hours later on the 3500 block of Georgia Avenue, police say a suspect was driving south and hit a police car driving the opposite direction.
The individual gets out of the car. He's really enraged and actually makes comments to the officer about hitting his car during that collision, and it just kind of escalated from there.
The suspect then reached into the officer's car through the window with a knife, demanding the officer's gun. The officer moved to the passenger side and told him to put the knife down, then fired his weapon. As the officer checked on him, the suspect got up, grabbed the knife, walking towards the officer, then entered another officer's car, which was not far. They told him to get out, and he finally came out with the knife.
The suspect then approaches a vehicle occupied by a woman in the parking lot of the laundromat. He opened the driver's door of the vehicle while still armed with the knife in his hand and attempted to carjack the vehicle. At this time, one of our officers discharged their service weapon at the suspect, striking him.
The suspect died at the scene.
Thankfully, none of the officers were injured, nor was the occupant of the vehicle injured. The 2 officers who discharged their service weapons have been placed on administrative leave per departmental policy.
Now, all of these investigations, all of these situations will remain under investigation. We're going to continue to follow this story and bring you the latest. We're now reporting in Northwest DC, I'm Yalmarie Sase, DC News Now.
Right, thank you, Yalmarie. Well, in Prince George's County, police are investigating a deadly shooting that happened in Laurel. Now, this happened last night on South Laurel Drive. There, police say they found a teenage boy suffering from gunshot wounds. That's where he died. That boy not yet been identified. Anyone with any information is asked to call police.
In Maryland, Prince George's County parents voicing safety concerns for their children after a number of recent violent incidents at different schools in the county. Parents met with district leaders last night at William Beans Community Center. Now, just last week, a student was arrested for trying to bring 2 loaded guns on campus at one high school. County leaders say parents have complained about their children being jumped at school and injured. Parents with kids at PGCPS say not enough is being done to make every student safe.
I want all of our kids to be safe here in Prince George's County School. You know, our teachers are trying to do the best that they can. Parents know, we know who our children are.
Last night's meeting was hosted by the district superintendent, board members, and the county sheriff.
DC News Now is your local election headquarters, and in the district, an advisory neighborhood commissioner, Salim Adolfo, announcing his run for the empty Ward 8 seat. Now, this comes as the District Board of Elections opened the nominations for the Ward 8 special election yesterday. In a social media post, Adolfo says he's dedicated to fighting for real change in his community and hopes to make sure Ward 8 gets the leadership it deserves. Voting for the special election starts in July. And new developments in the aftermath of last month's deadly mid-air collision that happened near DCA that killed 67 people.
And, you know, the wife and children of passenger Casey Crafton now suing the government. Crafton was on the American Airlines plane that collided with the military helicopter. The attorney says the family is suing the FAA and the Army for a total of $500 million, saying government negligence caused Crafton's death. Now, while the full report into the crash isn't finished, federal investigators say they are looking into missed communications between air traffic control and the Black Hawk crew.
Well, now to the recovery efforts for that mid-air collision have ended. Many first responders are looking to heal. More than 300 first responders were involved in that operation on the Potomac River. One of them telling us that what he went through, saying it'll stick with him for the rest of his life.
Our members worked for a very long time on the scene under extremely hazardous conditions. You know, there was jet fuel throughout the water. There was debris from the airplane as everybody dove for several hours in icy conditions. There's physical scars and those emotional scars that people have as a result of this tragedy.
And proceeds from the upcoming Legacy on Ice figure skating event will benefit first responders impacted by the crash. That performance is set for March 2nd at Capital One Arena.
6:09 happening now. A federal judge rules that the Department of Government Efficiency can continue to access government data systems. That judge says there are issues with Elon Musk's authority over Doge, but not enough for a temporary restraining order. It comes after 14 states, including Maryland, sued Doge, arguing the organization is not authorized to access classified data. And the Trump administration has fired about 1,000 newly hired National Park Service workers. Democratic senators and House members say the employees maintained and cleaned parks and educated visitors. We're also learning of layoffs at Virginia's Shenandoah National Park. Some fee collectors and trail maintenance workers lost their jobs, which they say could impact future visits. A spokesperson for the Interior Department declined to comment.
And Fairfax County leaders are lending a hand for those affected by the downsizing of the federal government. One resource leaders are providing to those laid off workers is the Economic Development Authority. That is where people can find open positions in Northern Virginia. There's also workforce and career centers, the country's workforce centers, as well as Virginia Career Works. Those are open in person and virtually. Be sure to make an appointment, though. And the Fairfax County School District is holding a job fair for federal workers and contractors. This is going to be at Willow Oaks Administrative Center tonight at 6 o'clock. You can register online for the event.
Your time is 6:10. U.S. Department of Agriculture says it is working to rescind the termination of several employees fired over the weekend who were overseeing the recent bird flu outbreak. In a statement, the agency says it continues to prioritize response to the growing impact of the bird flu. Veterinarians, animal health technicians, and other emergency health personnel were not affected by terminations over the weekend. The accidental firings come amid the Trump administration's sweeping push to reduce the size of the government and cut federal workforce.
And in more health news, oysters contaminated with norovirus could have been passed around restaurants and in stores in Maryland and Virginia. The FDA says that they were harvested in Louisiana and shipped across the country. Symptoms from the contaminated oysters include stomach cramps, nausea, and vomiting. All right, 6:11 now. On a Wednesday, the district is close to marking 50 years of Pride celebrations here in D.C.
And still to come, looking at the lineup of performers for the World Pride Festival. Plus, neighbors at a local apartment raising concerns after their building has been without gas for weeks. Officials share when it will be restored.
But first, we're taking a live look outside. Jackie, a cold start to our Wednesday.
Yeah, cold and cloudy out there right now. Much of the region tracking those dry conditions, but we do have some snow showers slowly starting to inch their way closer towards our area from the south and west. Much of that snow will be mainly for the southernmost parts of our area today. So I'll go over all those details, the timing, and what you can expect with the rest of that 7 day right after the break.